Last night I had a dream and I was swimming in an orange soda. And you know what happened after that? I realized it was a fantasy. Okay. Musical signs are a language without words. So it's just the symbols that we interpret to create different musical ideas. Those are, for example, the dynamic signs, the fortissimo, the pianissimo, but also it is the notes, the note heads, the clefs, the accidentals, the articulation, the bowings, the rests, all of that. So let's just go really quickly on those things. So we know that we in orchestra use primarily three clefs. It's true, violas sometimes use alto and treble clef. Violins primarily use treble clef, and cellos use bass clef, but sometimes they can use tenor clef. In any case, the treble clef is used for the highest notes, the alto clef is for the mid-range notes, and the bass clef is used for the low notes. Okay, so here is the treble clef. As you see, we know how it's written, and you're welcome to practice writing it. It's really, really great thing to be able to do. Violin, flute, clarinet, oboe, and trumpet all use the treble clef. So, the last note of this thing, this exercise, is an A, because the treble clef crosses the place where G should be. So you see the first note is a G, and the last note is an A. When we go to the alto clef, the alto clef shows you where the note C is. Okay? So, and there is the tenor clef. See, it looks a little bit different than the alto clef. It's a line higher. See, the alto clef is on the third line, and the tenor clef is on the second line from the top, or the fourth line from the bottom. And there we have the bass clef. So we have some sound. Okay, now here's the alto clef. Now bass clef.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
I'm sure you guys know about the clefs. So this is the stuff. And once again, I'm really going to stamp it. The musical stuff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. 5 lines and 4 spaces. There isn't a reason in the world why any one of you should be ever getting this wrong. Count the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, All right, now here is the key signature. The key signature tells you what key you're in, or the particular notes that need to be sharpened or flattened. For this particular key signature, all the notes that are an F, because this is a treble clef, so if you count G, A, B, C, D, E, F, all the F's are sharp unless they're cancelled by a natural sign. Then we know about the time signatures. Again, review. The top number tells you how many. The bottom is the fraction that you're using to count. So 4 quarter notes. And the measure is the standard division. So the music needs to be divided by equal lengths. Those are called measures or bars. And so the time signature tells you that there need to be 4 quarter notes per measure. So we have 1 quarter note, 2 8 notes, that's a quarter note, 2 8 notes, that's a quarter note, and then a 4th quarter note, complete. And then we have a half note, which is 2 beats, and a half rest, which is another 2 beats, so 4 beats. So we complete the requirement, 4 quarter notes per measure. The bar line divides the measures. That's how you can tell when a measure is complete. Double bar, when the piece ends, usually you have a double bar and one of the lines is thicker. Now the accidentals, those are the things that move the notes up and down half a step. Yeah, the sharp raises the pitch by a half step. The flat lowers the note by a half step. Take a good look. Memorize those. There is no reason why any of you should get ever this wrong. The natural erases the effects of a sharp or a flat. And take a look. It looks different than the sharp. Now here are the rests. And we have discussed rests, but we'll go over them once more. And there is the fermata. The fermata means hold it for longer. Now let's go over the note lengths. Here are some quarter notes. The quarter notes have an oval head and they have a stem. The note is filled in. Who picks these musical examples? They're weird. Anyway. Okay, so here are quarter notes. Remember when I taught you how to write stems properly? Okay, so a note that is below the third line of the staff, like the first note, gets the stem on the right side. And the stem is as long as an octave. So you see, it ends right where the other, in this case, C is. The both notes are a C. So the stem extends to the next octave C. Now, because this second C is above the third line, then the stem goes on the left side and gets extended down. But notice that the length is also to that same C. So the stem length has to be as long as the octave. Not that you have to be absolutely extremely careful, but the right length measured by eye is always better than you writing the stems too short or too long by a lot. The 8 notes, oh, it's that same example. All right. The 8 notes can be written either by a stem and a flag. Look at the third line. There is a single red note there. So a stem and a flag, that's an 8 note. But on the first line, there are 2 8 notes that are connected by a beam. Okay, those are also 8 notes. Okay, I can't listen to this again. Okay, so here are some 8 notes. So as you hear, the were all 8 notes. And boom, boom, quarter, boom, boom, quarter. Okay, I hope that explains it. The half notes, they are empty. Now the head is not filled in, and it has a stem. There are 2 beats. And you can count with the metronome if you would like. Now, perfect. Now we go to the whole note. The whole note is a note for 4 beats. I don't think I need to play you that, but it's kind of like an oval shape. No, I'm not particular. I kind of like try to do ovals, but they're circles, that's okay. Oval is better when you handwrite it. Now here are the 16 notes. They have followed pretty much the same rules as the 8 notes. They can be written as note heads with a stem and 2 flags this time, or 2 beams. Okay, the separate, as you see now, Those 16 notes have 2 flags. The dotted quarter note, as you know, you add half of the length of the note. So 1 quarter note divided by half, that's an 8th note. So you add the 8 notes to the quarter note and you get a beat and a half. Same thing is valid for the 8 notes. You get an 8 note, you divide it by half and you get a 16 note. So you add the 16 note to the 8 note and you get 3/4 of a beat. And to complete it, you see the black notes, that's the other quarter of the beat. Let's hear how that sounds like. Yeah. Let's see. More examples. Well, to be honest with you, those are pretty short 16 notes. I would say they were double dotted. So if you want to do that, you would have to put 2 dots, and that adds half of the note and half of the half. Kind of makes your head explode. Great. Okay, more examples. Okay, this is a dotted 8th note. The dotted half note follows the same rules. So half of half note is a quarter. You add it to the half note, then you get 3 beats. Let's see. What's that? I'm curious. Yes, that's how it looks like. Now the tie connects notes together that are of the same pitch. The difference between a tie and a slur is that the slur connects notes that are different pitches. Great. Now let's go over the rest. The rest have pretty much the same rules. It's a 16 note rest. As you see, it has 2 flags. The way that I describe rest always is a musical silence. Write that somewhere. Rest is musical silence. See? 1 flag, 2 flags. It's a little bit slanted line. Okay. The 8th note rest is just like the 16th note rest, but with 1 flag. Yeah, those are offbeats. That's how it looks like. If you want to practice writing it, that'd be great. Oops. Here we go. With quarter note rest. Looks like the Harry Potter scar. Rest. Rest. Okay, so this is how you write it. I usually go to the right, to the left, to the right, and then curve down. The half note rest looks like a top hat. I'm not sure that's the greatest example of half rest. This is how it looks like. But the whole note rest, it looks like a hole in the ground. And it has 4 beats. 4. Okay, this is how it looks like. Dotted 8th note rest. Yes, rests can also get no dots, and they follow the same rules. Same rules as the notes that get dotted. Half of 8th note is a 16th note. So you take the 16th note and you add it to the half. So you get 3 16 notes, and the 4th 16 note completes the beat. Dotted quarter note rest follows the same rules. You have 1 beat and divided by half, that's an 8th note. So you add the 8th note to the 1 beat and you get a beat and a half. Here we're gonna go over dynamics really quickly. You know, pianissimo is very, very soft. Mezzo piano is medium soft. Mezzo forte is medium loud. And forte is loud. Fortissimo is very loud. There's Beethoven for you. Let's see what this is. Yeah, certainly very loud. Crescendo, this is the sign, getting louder. Great, this is how it looks in the music. Or you can write crescendo, diminuendo, or decrescendo, getting softer. This is how it looks in the music. Okay? Now, sforzando means strongly accented, reinforced volume. It's called sforzando. Sforzando. Reinforced. Forte piano means loud and then immediately soft. Alrighty, so this is going to be all for today. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know all of those musical signs and you can get them without a mistake. Yesterday, by the way, I ate a clock and it was very time consuming because I had to come back 4 seconds. Alright, Mr. D out. Have a good week.